Welcome to St. Cast Different Day podcast. I am Martel Roland. I just had to rush up here to get the show started because I was not feeling good. I was like really not feeling good right before the right before I was supposed to go live. So Tin Marie is off because it's her birthday was yesterday, so she's doing birthday festivities. So you are stuck with me today, and I forgot my notes, y'all. I forgot to pull up my notes and to kick this thing off. Let me get my notes ready. Just work with me, y'all. That's why I was kind of hot. I literally ran up here too into the studio. So, for those of you who don't know, Ryan Roth has been sentenced to life in prison plus 84 months for the attempted assassination of then presidential candidate Donald Trump. Makes you wonder how many years is Pam Bondi going to get, and her team is going to get for releasing child porn. So those of you who don't know, there was some Epstein files that had got released by the Department of Justice that's ran by Pam Bondi, and there were some unredacted files in there and pictures of victims, and some of those victims were not clothed. And she released those pictures on the internet for everyone to see. It's out there in the world for everyone to see. So our Pam Bondi, who runs the Department of Justice, had distributed child porn. So it makes you wonder if somebody who attempted to assassinate Donald Trump get a life sentence plus 84 months. Is the Department of Justice on Pam Bondi is gonna have to serve some type of jail time for releasing child porn. By the way, this is the guy who attempted to assassinate President Donald Trump. Yeah, that's what we have to look forward to. So this is talk about Alex Peretti. So this is going to be a very short show, by the way, just to let you guys know. So Alex Peretti shooting death was ruled a homicide. This was according to the medical examiner's case. My hope is that ICE agents will learn from this situation. Alex and Renee were American citizens who did not deserve to be gunned down. If this was the same thing that happened when the whole January 6th insurrection happened, we had all those people storming the Capitol building, I feel like this would have been totally different. Although a police officer and a civilian did die, and they said somebody else died from a heart attack that was out there at the protest. But I feel like if these were, people responding to if this was a pro ICE rally, these were pro ICE rallies or protests, and these people were out there protesting pro being, pro ICE or whatever. And if one of those protesters was to happen to get shot and killed, I just feel like things would be totally different, in my personal opinion. And I don't know, what do you guys think? Because I just feel like it would be totally different if it was a pro ICE, protest. And like I said, and I feel like it shouldn't have took for, these two innocent people. I believe there was one more, but it shouldn't have took for these two innocent people to get killed by ICE for people to like, hey, yeah, we need to do something about this. We need to rein in ICE power. We need to rein in how things are done. And there was a woman who actually came in contact with ICE, and she was on her way to a hospital visit, who testified in front of Congress. And I want to play that clip for you in just a moment.
On January 13th, on the way to my 39th appointment at Hennepin County's Traumatic Brain Injury Center, I encountered a traffic jam caused by ICE vehicles and no signs indicating how to get around it. I had not wanted to pull into a blocked, chaotic intersection, but verbally agreed to do so and rolled down my window after an agent yelled, "Move! I will break your effing window!" His first instruction. Agents on all sides of my vehicle yelled conflicting threats and instructions that I could not process while watching for pedestrians. Then the glass of the passenger side window flew across my face. I yelled, "I'm disabled," at the hands grabbing at me, and an agent said, "Too late." An agent pulled a large combat knife in front of my face, which I thought was for cutting me, and later learned was used to cut off my seatbelt. Shooting pain went through my head, neck, and wrists when I hit the ground face first and people leaned on my back. I was carried face down through the street by my cuffed arms and legs while yelling that I had a brain injury and was disabled. I now cannot lift my arms normally. I was never asked for ID, never told I was under arrest, never read my rights, and never charged with a crime. I pleaded for emergency medical care for over an hour after my vision had become blurry, my heart rate went through the roof, and the pain in my neck and head became unbearable. It was denied. When I became unable to speak, my cellmate pleaded for me. The last sounds I remember before I blacked out on the cell floor were my cellmate banging on the door, pleading for a medic, and a voice outside saying, "We don't want to step on ICE's toes." When I opened my eyes at Hennepin County's emergency room, I learned I was brought there to be treated for assault. But I do not deserve more humane treatment than anyone else, U.S. citizen or not. And I am here today with a strong spirit and a duty to the many people who haven't had the privilege to tell their stories or see their loved ones come home.
So no one deserved for that to happen to them when they're just on their way to a doctor's appointment, being pulled out their car and having those things done to them. And I want to let people know, because a lot of people will try to bring up Obama and all these other kind of things. But under Obama's administration, thousands of people were deported every day. And then also during the administration, during the administration from 2000, I believe he got elected in 2008. So from 2009 to 2015, when Obama was 16, when Obama left office, 3.1 million people were deported from the United States. Now, one time did you hear or see ICE agents or Border Patrol agents storming the streets? We didn't hear that. We didn't hear about American people being shot and killed. There was nobody out protesting. It got to be a better way to do this than what the Trump administration is currently doing right now. Once again, he told the American people during his campaign that he was going to be going after sex offenders, murderers, and dangerous criminals. Instead, they are pulling 5-year-old kids off the streets and holding them captive until their parents show up. That kid is going to be traumatized for the rest of his life due to that situation. And I believe that we have not seen the worst that coming from this administration, that is going to get worse. And this is that 5-year-old and with his family and his dad being reunited together. He was pulled off the streets. Don't know what was going on. Just some random car pulling up and people hopping out and pulling him off the street. It shouldn't happen. This should not be happening. Like, this cannot be the America that we live in. You're right. It's very sad. 5 years old. And I believe we're in Minnesota. I think it was Minnesota. This congressman that you see in the photo right there, he rode with them from the ICE detention center to home to make sure that ICE wouldn't try to do anything else. Like I said, we shouldn't be living in a time where people have to walk the streets and be scared. It shouldn't be. It shouldn't be like that. And then it's like we're constantly going through these, these people like, oh well, like I said on the last episode, there are so many people saying that about the system and everything. And I keep telling people the system that was built by what they call forefathers, whatever, back in, they decided to do the whole Declaration of Independence. That system was not made in mind for Black people, brown people, Mexicans, Latinos. It wasn't meant for people who are considered minorities today. This system was not built for them. The system was built for white men. It wasn't even built for women. It was literally built for white men. Women did not even get rights until the 1960s, 50s, and 60s. Like, what are we doing? And then they keep on talking about make America great again. When was America ever great for anybody besides a white man? Like, really make that make sense. Yes, I'm not a conservative. And I'm all for progression, but I tell people there are some ideas on the other side that I would agree with. Do I 100% agree with everything they do? No, I do not agree with it. But, there are things that Democrats do that I don't really necessarily agree with. I've said plenty of times before, like, I feel like um, as a person who's considered middle class, it's like we get ignored. So you have the conservative, which is the Republican Party, who caters to the rich, the millionaires, and you got the billionaires and things like that. And I feel like the Democrats, they cater more to, they say lower class, but it's really towards lower class people, like people who make less than $25,000 a year. That's who I feel like the Democratic Party really caters to. And I feel like those people that's in the middle, who's like between 40 to 100, let's say 150,000 a year, they are completely ignored. Like I said, we have to pay. We don't get no help from the government. We don't get no help from the system. We have to pay out of pocket for food, health insurance, everything. Basically, everything you need to survive, you are paying out of pocket for with no help whatsoever. And then here you go, you got these Republicans who are like too steady or take from this group to the point where like they don't strain so much out the middle class. The middle class people who are still making decent amount of money, like I said, from 40 to 100 some thousand, they're still struggling. And it shouldn't be that way. And then you have the Democrats who, and this is just my personal opinion, you have the Democrats who I feel like cater to the lower class people who make less than $25,000 a year. And you see them just giving that group of people so many handouts, and they get so many handouts. It's like at some point, these people are getting handouts. It's like, when are they going to take the initiative to better themselves? And I keep telling people, like, there are some people who are, we got people who are making careers out of working at McDonald's. Not saying that it's bad, but if you've got 4 or 5 kids at home, McDonald's is not for you. That's not a place for you to go to work and support your kids. Not downplaying it. I don't know if they dropped out of high school, but there are programs, like it's programs out there to help you get your GED and all these other kind of things to improve your life. Like I said, my first job, I started making $9 an hour. I make over 20 some dollars an hour now. But at some point, you got to move into different positions. You got to set a new path. You got to make goals for yourself. And then you just got those people where you got the Democrats, they're constantly giving to them. And it's some of those people, not saying all, but it's a lot of people that's in that position where they're getting all these free things. And they're like, well, I'm going to manipulate the program so that way I can continue to get these things and don't have to work, or only go to work part-time to maintain this benefit. Because I know there are some people who will work full-time hours, and then when it comes close to get the review for their food stamps, they would cut the hours so that way it'll show that they're not working that many hours. And then they will do their review, and after the review is over, then they go back to working full-time hours once they keep receiving the benefits. So it's not fair. Like I said, there's not nobody to really represent the middle class people in this situation. And it sucks. And it sucks for us. So after Don Lemon was released from prison, well, jail, I don't know why I said prison. Prison and jail is 2 different things. So after he was released from jail, he had a message for the current administration and also Nicki Minaj. I'm going to play that video for you right now.
So people have been asking me about responding to Nicki Minaj's unhinged, homophobic tweet about me. I usually don't respond to this stuff, but let me just say this. Nicki Minaj, stop talking about shit for which you know nothing about. This is out of your depth. by the way, and you are a homophobic bigot. You don't care about African Americans. You're not an African American. From what I know, you are reportedly an undocumented citizen, so you should be deported under Donald Trump's rules. And the other thing is that your family members, you have one family member who is reportedly a sex offender, the other family member, your husband or whatever, a sex offender is your husband, and one of them is reportedly a pedophile. And you have nerve to talk about me and what you think that I do? Nicki Minaj, get a life. Stop being a pick-me. You should have put a pick-me doll on that damn tweet instead of a Chucky doll, because you are nothing but a pick-me. And I choose not to pick you. And so should black people, and so should gay people. Shouldn't buy your music. Clock that.
I haven't listened to Nicki Minaj music in years. I never really cared for her music at all. And like I said, like you said, she's just a pick me. Hey, making herself look bad. But anyways, because continuing on with the whole Nicki Minaj thing, did you guys watch the Grammys what was it, Sunday? Because there's something that stood out to me. And one part that stood out in particular was Trevor Noah when he was talking about Nicki Minaj and Donald Trump. So he went on to say Nicki Minaj is not here. She's not here. Then the whole audience started clapping and erupting and all these other kind of things, right? And so then he goes into this whole thing where he's like doing an impression of Donald Trump and stuff. But he was like, she's still at the White House with Donald Trump discussing very important issues. And then he goes into the impression like, actually, Nicki, I have the biggest ass. I have it. Everybody says it. Nicki, I know they say it, but it's me. Wop, wop, wop. Look at it, baby. So Nicki goes on to Twitter and says, and quote, Trevor refuses to come out the closet when everybody in the industry knows his boyfriend allegedly. And that's her comeback for Trevor Noah making fun of her and Donald Trump. So then Nicki goes on to the internet and she was like, and after she said Trevor refuses to come out the closet, she also posted some pictures of Jay-Z, Beyonce, with Jay-Z, with Aaliyah and Beyonce from the 90s, claiming to know that they were dating. And then that's why I'm like, she had the audacity to post this picture. Let me show y'all the picture. That's the actual tweet. So she had the audacity to post this picture right here and showing Jay-Z in 1996, age 26, and Aaliyah 15. He's reportedly they was in a relationship. And in 1997, him 27 years old, Beyonce 16 years old, reportedly together. I don't know if Beyonce and Jay-Z really dated in the 90s. I really don't know, but if it was ill, he's one of them too. But Nicki, you had the audacity to get on the internet and say some stuff like that when you are representing a party that wants to protect pedos. You are attaching yourself to an administration that wants to protect sex offenders. You want to attach yourself to somebody, an administration that believes that selling little girls to islands and making them do stuff sexually is okay. This is not okay. Well, like Don Lemon said in the video, when you're married to a registered sex offender who cannot be around kids, and you got a cousin or an uncle who is a pedo. But you have the audacity to make this accusation right here about Jay-Z. Girl, I need you to get your life together. Seriously. So, Super Bowl is this Sunday. I don't remember who's playing in the Super Bowl. I just know that it's being held in San Francisco. But I will be watching the Super Bowl this Sunday, and I'm excited forward to Super Bowl because of the halftime show. And there are a lot of Trump supporters who are very upset about the halftime show. Now, Bad Bunny told all of you that, you guys had a few months to learn Spanish to know what's going on with his show, to be able to understand what he's singing about. And the Turning Point is hosting a alternative Super Bowl halftime show, which supposed to star, I think the headliner is supposed to be Kid Rock. And I'm like, Turning Point, y'all supposed to be like, conservative America, whatever. But I'm like, y'all hired Kid Rock, who's not even an American citizen. He's Canadian. So you guys are all right with a Canadian immigrant doing a halftime show, but you guys are not okay with a Puerto Rican born celebrity doing a halftime show because y'all said that Bad Bunny is an American, but Puerto Rico is part of America, which makes Bad Bunny American. That's why I say people like that people of that party are just not the brightest people, because then y'all support someone who says that he went to the Virgin Islands and visited the president of the Virgin Islands. Like, sir, the Virgin Islands is part of the United States. You're the president of the Virgin Islands. Like, and this is the person that people choose to follow and vote for. Like, make it make sense, y'all. Like, y'all got to be smarter. You got to be smarter. And then on top of all that, I don't know who's in charge of like the Super Bowl for shows or bringing in performers and stuff like that. But on top of that, they also are bringing in Green Day. And for those of you who don't know, Green Day absolutely hates Trump with a passion. They cannot stand Donald Trump. So not only did they get a Spanish-speaking celebrity artist, a Spanish singing artist, I don't know what you call him, rapper, I don't know. You got the Spanish artist who they think is from Mexico, but is really from Puerto Rico and really American, but they say he's not American. Yeah, he's doing a halftime show. Then they bring in somebody else who is, I don't know if Green Day from America, whatever. They hate Donald Trump. Anyways, I'll be watching the Super Bowl this Sunday. Let me know down in the comments what you guys looking forward to the Super Bowl, and what are you most looking forward to come this Sunday for the Super Bowl? Now, before I go, it's like I said, this ain't gonna be a long show because one, I feel like crap today. But I was like, I got to get this episode done. So before I go, the Mariah Carey tribute. I don't know if anybody's seen that Mariah Carey tribute but I just want, what's his name, Billy Porter, sir. You embarrassed. Except that Mariah Carey tribute for the Music Cares, when she got the Music Cares Award, it was terrible. Okay, only person who did a good job was, I believe they was called Flo, Charlie Puth, and I can't remember the other girl, but she played Cindy Lou and How the Grinch Stole Christmas. But anyway, she did good because she performed 2 songs off of Mariah Carey's rock album that was never released, and did an amazing job. But Charlie Puth did an amazing job, and I believe Flo did an amazing job. But the rest of it, it was like looking at live karaoke. It was like going out to a bar and watching karaoke. Jennifer Hudson she just oversang. She always oversings too much. Kesha, couldn't catch the beat. I don't know if she listened to the song before. It was a mess, and I feel like it made me really understand why Mariah Carey don't like people doing her songs. And we sat there and watched her with that fake smile on her face during all those performances, like, and everybody but she sat there through all those performances with that fake smile and watching everybody do her songs. Like, you could tell that she was just not happy. Like, oh, please let this be over with. Mariah, I don't blame you. I really don't blame you. But with all that being said, thank you all for tuning into this episode of Same Cast Different Day podcast. Make sure you check out our official site, which is all linked in the links below. And I will see you all on the next episode of Same Cast Different Day podcast. Tina Marie will be back with me, and we're going to have ourselves a good time. I don't know, we might talk about some dating or some relationship stuff going on. We don't know yet, but make sure y'all tune in. Make sure y'all like and subscribe, so that way you guys to get that notification when we're about to go live. And thank you all once again for tuning in to Same Cast Different Day podcast, and we will see you on the next episode.